Okay, hello there. I am Sarah, and we are going to be playing Annalise for the Maidens of Mayhem community. Annalise is a gothic horror story game by Nathan Paoletta, where you play a group of people who have somehow attracted the notice of a vampiric entity. In this case, we're going to be playing a guided play scenario called The Wake of Zenus Quantum. So I'm going to read the background so we can be familiar with where we are starting at. When Zenus Quantum, the superpositioned man, dies in Oubliette Asylum, the heroic agency breathes a collective sigh of relief. No longer do they have to protect Saga City from a man who can be everywhere at once, but not long after Xena's death, strange goings-on remove any ease the heroes might have had. Is it a copycat, a clone, a government plot, an alien, or merely coincidence? Is Zenus Quantum dead after all, or are the members of the heroic agency merely jumping at shadows? So we will be playing the heroic agency. So I will be playing Koichi Kelly Tori. My superhero name is Kitsune, and I am vulnerable because I cannot allow my family or friends to be affected by my superhero life. I am a teenage science nerd, and I am skeptic of the supernatural. So who wants to go next?
Sure, I'll go. I am Barry Hendricks. I go by the superhero name the Steel Cyclone. One day there was a suit of armor saying you need this later, showed up in my house. So I actually managed to capture Zenus Quantum once on my very first adventure, and that's what got me into the heroic agency, but I'm definitely the new kid on the block.
All right.
Okay, I am Isabella Marchiones. I am Archon. I am vulnerable because I refuse assistance at all times. After revolutionizing the computer industry 20 years ago at age 13, because I'm a super genius, I used my billions to fund charity organizations the world over. But as my city succumbed to crime and corruption, I decided that one person could make a difference, and I became the ultimate urban warrior.
Awesome.
All right, and I need to change that away from my. I'll get that later. So I am playing Banner, who goes by his superhero name of Paladin, who is vulnerable because he's not sure that he's doing the right thing anymore. He came to Earth as a crash-landed alien and was subsequently captured by Nazis, rescued by the Americans, and is apparently a mix between Superman and Captain America.
That's right. So we are actually going to be using Roll20 to play our game. So let me go over a few things that we have going on here. So each of us have our own character sheet and tokens, and I'm totally gesturing while I'm speaking and realizing that you guys can't see what I'm doing. Oh well. So for example, so I'm over there looking at the screen. I'm on the right. You can see that I have 4 tokens in my vulnerability. And specifically, I have 6 in my trait of much beloved. Under secret, I have 3 tokens, and I have under my specific secret of lingering guilt, I have 2 tokens. 2 tokens in my reserve, and I have claims on fox and demoralizing quips. So let's go over a little bit what each of these things mean. Claims are parts of the fiction that you have said are your own. And so that means anytime there is an introduction of, let's say, a fox into a scene, or someone makes a remark about a fox, or I'm like, hey, this is a great place for a fox to show up, I can spend one of my coins and inject it into a scene. Follow that so far?
Yep.
Yay, everybody's nodding. And so the much beloved trait works a similar way in that whenever we get to moments and I'm trying to have a good outcome of a difficult choice, I will be spending those little tokens to affect my dice. So we'll kind of go over that as we play, because this game is a lot of fun. There's the mechanics, I think, are best taught in play. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is on the lower left-hand corner, you can see an X card. So we are going to be playing with the X card mechanic. If anything comes up that you're uncomfortable with or is, you don't feel is fun, all you have to do is tap the card or draw my attention to it. You can move it to the center of the table. Or you can also send a message to me in chat, or you can verbally say, actually, can we X card this particular subject? And then we will stop playing, rewind, and then continue playing without the problematic aspect. An example of something like this is like if someone's not comfortable with, say, drug use. You can also tell me up front if there's any subjects that you want to avoid. Totally up to you guys, but that's solely to make you comfortable and happy and safe and have fun. Good so far?
Big fan of the X card.
I just, especially because this is a horror game, and we will probably be touching on some horrific and adult themes, I want to make sure that you guys can feel comfortable.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right. So the structure of what we're going to be doing here is everybody will take a turn as active player. When you're an active player, it is all about you and your character. You choose another player to be your scene guide. And the scene guide kind of acts as a GM in that they will narrate what's going on around you, give you stuff to interact with. The other 2 people, who are the audience, can at any point interject one of their claims into the narration. They can claim parts of fiction that someone else has said. So if, for example, I'm the active player and I have Eric being my scene guide, and he starts describing like a really cool stained glass window, either Nicole or Michael could be like, stained glass window, that's mine! And then you can mark it down in your claims, and we'll give you tokens to put on it. But so you play through the scene with the active player and scene guide. And as you play, you may come up with something that you feel will dramatically affect the fiction, and this is called a moment. Either the active player can seize the moment, is what it's called. They're like, hey, I think this is a moment. Or the story guide can push a moment and be like, this is a moment, you're going to have to decide to do something here, and that's when we'll bring up our achievement and consequences handout. There'll be dice rolling, and this is also the part where the audience players can then put their tokens out to start to really mess with you. because part of the interesting part of Annalise is it's a little bit competitive. You can fuck with each other and just kind of push each other closer to the vampire with a little bit of the mentality of, I don't have to be the fastest, just somebody else needs to run a little slower than me to get caught. So yeah. Any questions so far?
Nope.
I think so.
All right. Does anyone want to be the active player first?
1, 2, 3, nut it.
I will, if no one else wants to.
That sounds awesome to me.
And I think just since the other two people have never played before, how about I make you my scene director, and we'll work from there?
That sounds very, very good.
All right.
This will also help because hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate how to make a satellite trait during your scene.
Oh, maybe.
Well, if we get to a moment, then we definitely will. So we'll see.
Yes.
So for your particular character, the recommended scene is that the Saga City, because we're playing in Saga City, as we're all the awesome superheroes of Saga City. The Saga City Bridge begins to crumble with a school bus full of children on it. And then villains take over the heroic agency, our headquarters, and you have to lead a tour group out of the building safely. So things start out really, really bad. Is that where you would like to start?
Sure, let's start there.
Awesome.
It can only get better from there.
Can it?
You say that now.
Yeah, you gotta wonder.
So during this, I may also ask if you guys want to play NPCs. There's no need to, but if you want to, it's cool. And your characters may end up in the scene as well.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with a kind of a wide view of Saga City. It's late afternoon, and it's a little bit cloudy overhead. It's the kind of cloudy where you get the big shafts of sunlight coming through the clouds, and they're coming down and they're just kind of sparkling off all of these steel skyscrapers and glass buildings that just fill the horizon. Saga City is gigantic and it's modern and it's beautiful. You can see overhead the trails from planes, and the streets are full of well-dressed citizens of all different ethnicities and ages seeming to go about their business on this slightly chilly fall day full of golden sunlight. Right now, Barry has gotten out of school early because you're a teenager, right?
I think he's a grad student.
Grad student? All right.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of, it's your afternoon off.
Right.
From grad school. And so you've just left this beautiful tree-lined campus where you do your grad work and walked through the city to the Heroic Agency's headquarters.
Sounds
now,
good.
Whenever you get there, help me out a little. Tell me what you think the agency looks like.
I think that the agency was probably mostly designed by Isabella, because she's been doing this for a while, and so I think it's very kind of like throwback Art Deco, kind of Paul Dini, Batman, the animated series. You know, like there's cell phones and technology, but it's kind of got that Art Deco feel to it.
Nice.
It's full of glass and full of light, right? Like it's supposed to be this beacon, and so I think that she kind of had architects come in and play with that element of light as a beacon in the city. And it's probably close to downtown, probably not too far from like city government, things like that.
Very nice. I like that a lot.
With a view.
Oh yes. Maybe elevate it a little so we have a little bit of view of the city.
Say
Right.
Jumping on the hill a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like there wasn't a hill there, and then there was, and that's where it was built.
Totally.
And we don't ask how all that happened.
So you walk into this hallway full of glass and light, and you've got this book bag over your shoulder full of really heavy books and binders, and your cell phone buzzes in your hip pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you reach for it,
Hello?
a shadow goes over the sun, and the agency's hallways turn cold and dark. And when you look at your phone, you see there's a news alert, and it says that there's a news agency on the scene, but there's something going on at the harbor, and there's children involved.
Well, I'm sure that we have some sort of centralized command center. So let me head that way and try to figure out what's going on.
As you rush through the halls, and you can hear your steps clicking on this, very modern, it's like super concrete material that part of the building's made out of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this cold gray, but it has flecks of gold in it. As you hurry through these hallways that just echo, you kind of, as you pass a hallway, you see there's a tour going on of regular citizens. You see some tourists in there with brightly colored shirts and their cameras, and they see you and kind of squeal a little bit in excitement to see one of the heroes.
I will stop and wave as I've been taught to do by Banner. Hello, folks. I see that you're here on a tour, and I'm thrilled that you can come visit us today. But I think that things are about to get very interesting around here. And if you folks don't mind, could I get you to follow me out, and we'll head out towards the front. You can take some photos outside. But I'm sorry. I think that Justice is going to need to use its home to figure out where it needs to strike.
Okay, that's really interesting. So what we can do here is either a couple of us can play the tourist, following him around. One of you can interject in your superhero persona. We could turn this into a moment. Do either of you want to jump in at this point? It's okay if you don't.
I can be a tourist.
Yeah, I was going to jump in as a tourist also.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
So you're going to have a handful of tourists. The tour guide is, I will play the tour guide. Let's say you know her. Her name is Tori. And you've seen her around because she seems to, anytime it's her time to work, every time you turn around, she's like there. And she is a kind of scrawny high school student with mousy brown hair and two big glasses. And at your words, she starts to look like visibly panicked. There's, I know there's like an emergency procedure, but I can't like, where's my inhaler?
It's okay, Tori. I promise you, we're going to take care of this together. We're going to have everything under control. Why don't you come with me? Help get these people to. Actually, why don't you go back there? Make sure you grab those kids. They look like they're down there looking at the trophy case. Bring them up here. Let's get everybody with their moms and get all the folks together.
What's this trophy for? When did you get that for?
Oh, oh gosh. Banner got that off of some alien invader years ago, before I ever even joined.
What kind of alien?
They were purple.
Oh.
And they had 3 eyes.
Are the purple ones bad aliens?
They didn't seem like they were very nice folks.
Oh. Are all purple aliens bad aliens?
I'm not going to go that far and say that they're all bad, but those particular guys were not very nice. Just like, some people are criminals here and some people are nice people here,
What about green aliens?
I haven't met any green aliens yet. I would love to meet some green aliens. I've heard they're very cool, but I just haven't. Can I get you to come on this way? And
okay. All right.
I read a comic where there was some green aliens in it one time, and they changed shape, and it was really cool.
Oh, that sounds cool. I need to watch that.
Come on and tell me what they changed into while we're going this way. Come on.
Barry, your phone buzzes again with that same warning.
Yeah. I think I will seize a moment.
Awesome! We get our first moment. So I believe that means, do you want to make a satellite trait?
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, now you're going to have to remind me how to define my satellite trait.
Sure. I just turned to that page in the rules.
Okay.
So I'm going to read it, you guys.
Cool.
So your core traits are broad, abstract, and common to all the characters, while your satellite traits are more focused expressions of your character's individual abilities, attitudes, capabilities, and learned or inborn skills. So your satellite trait has to be linked to either your vulnerability or your secret. So, for example, if your vulnerability was, I am vulnerable because I never let myself get close to anyone, you could have a satellite trait like you're a good liar. Yeah. That was totally nice.
A little Freudian there.
Or you could be self-sufficient or have an air of superiority. So what would be a personality trait that would come into play into this scene? Connected with either your quick thinking or the fact that you're everybody's friend.
I think that it's going to be built off of my quick thinking.
Okay.
And what I think I'm going to say is that since I'm not in uniform, the suit has certain automated routines that it is running inside the command center.
Okay.
I am supposed to be the fastest thing around, so perhaps that's part of how it does it. So, I don't know. How do we define that? Do we say that the suit has a mind of its own?
Or maybe would it be something like it's kind of like you and the suit are almost the same.
Yes.
Like we think as one.
Yes, we think as one. That's a good one.
So it's up to you. I can either type that out for you, or you can.
Would you please type it out? It seems like we can't edit those boxes.
Of course, because I wouldn't make it easy.
No, it's all right.
And how many tokens do you want to put on that?
Now, I can't remember. Can I move them from quick thinking down to that one, or do I have to move them from our reserves?
What you can do, you have to spend them from the core trait. You can only spend from your reserve whenever it's like, well, actually, since we're just starting a moment, you can spend from your reserve then.
No, I think I want to move from the core trait.
So remember that, where is it? The number of coins you spend are equal to double the number you're spending, is how many you get.
Okay.
So if you spend 2, you actually end up with 5. I think you guys might see now why I mentioned that the mechanics are kind of... there's a lot of mechanics.
So I have 3 in my core. I think I'm only going to spend 1 right now.
Okay. So that will give you, let's see here. I guess just 2.
Yeah.
All right. How cool is that?
Easy enough.
All right. So let's look at our achievements and consequences then.
Sure.
So what do you feel is kind of going on in this scene? Like, what is going to be what is your moment? Are you trying to figure out how to handle the tourists?
I think actually my moment is getting the rest of the heroes to whatever's happening down at the bridge.
I like that.
Yeah, like I'm going to basically take it on the beat and deal with the tourists and let the rest of the team be out there dealing with whatever's going on at the bridge. So I think that's my moment is, can I actually do that while tied up, I guess, with these tourists?
Yes, that sounds about right. So that means that you come up with an outcome and I come up with an outcome as the scene guide.
Okay.
So mine's more of a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's the downside and yours is the positive.
Sure.
So I'm going to say that the consequence of you trying to balance both of these situations is you take too long to notify the other superheroes, and the children are placed in great danger.
Okay.
Because I am totally the kind of person to do that in a game.
Sure. I think for my achievement, because they have to sort of be orthogonal to each other, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to make the achievement that it makes the team look good as a group.
Ooh, that's a good one. Now you get to spend the number of coins out of your relevant satellite trait, which in this case we determined is we think is 1.
Yes.
And that's how many dice you get to roll. And
right,
after he rolls the dice, then we can start messing with him if we want.
All right, I think I'm going to roll both.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So that will give you 2 dice.
Sure.
And then if you want to roll dice in Roll20 or real life or whatever you want to do.
I'll just roll them there and roll 20. So I got a 4 and a 3.
Okay. So if you look at the achievements and consequences chart, So he'll decide which one goes to the positive and which one goes to the negative. So a 3 and a 4, if he chose the 3 positive, it would be you come just short of this achievement. Or if he chose it for the consequence happens, though not to its fullest extent possible. When the moment closes, he'll actually get another coin to put in his reserves. Whereas 4 is you gain the achievement, so he'll get what he wants without any reservations. But if you put that on the consequence, you avoid the consequence, though perhaps only barely. When the moment closes, place a coin in your reserves. So actually, these are really good rolls. So what do you think you want to do?
I'm going to put the 4 on the consequence.
Okay.
And put the 3 on the achievement.
So what we can do here is, if we want to, we could spend some of our coins, our tokens, to make him go, is it 1 or 2 up or... Yeah, you can go up to 2 steps, either up or down. So if I spin a coin, I could change that 3 to a 1. If I wanted to be mean like that, which I might. But I wanted to give you two a chance to go first. And do not feel bad. You're supposed to mess with each other. Just remember, if you run out of coins and like your vulnerability, that brings you closer to the vampire. You'll be a little bit more susceptible to his evilness whenever he shows up.
So, okay, you spent the 4 and the 3 in which ones now again?
I put the 3 in the achievement.
Okay.
So, right now, the team's not getting a reputation boost, but we are saving the kids in the nick of time. Because I put the 4 in the consequence. Is that your basic understanding of it, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when we spend the coins, where do they come out of any particular store, or out of the reserves, or?
They, I believe, can come out of anywhere.
Okay.
I may be wrong about that. Ah, claims. It has to come out of your claims.
Okay.
You can also make him re-roll the dice entirely.
I think I will pass for now.
Okay. And there's some other like nuances of the rules, but we're keeping it simple for now.
Fair
How
enough.
about you, Nicole?
So you can lower it or raise it, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can make me re-roll one of them.
So I do want to clarify something. I was wrong. Whenever you spend a claim, the token, you only get to change it for as many tokens as you spend. So if you spend 1, you can modify it by 1. I don't know why I was thinking 2. Or you can just make him re-roll the die and see what happens.
I will make him re-roll one of them. Why not?
Which one would you like for me to re-roll? The achievement or the consequence?
Let's say the achievement.
Sweet.
Where do I have to move this to?
Just move it in the center.
All right, there we go. I have moved it from my imposing glare.
Nice. All right. Well, let me roll another d6 then. Oh!
Oh,
Yes!
not yes, that's awful.
That's excellent. I don't know what you're talking
All
about.
right, it's excellent. Totally excellent. So you got a 6 on your achievement. You get an unexpectedly positive outcome. It's not the initial roll of the moment, so we don't have to follow that. An unexpectedly positive outcome.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is it the initial roll of the moment?
No, because you already rolled, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So, would you like to narrate what happens, or would you like me to?
I'll let you narrate what happens.
Fine.
I like where your head goes, so.
I have a cat visitor, by the way, so.
Okay.
Hello, Kitty. You like where my head goes after I infected one of your cohorts
Yes.
with vampirism, and all in a different game.
That's exactly why I like where your head goes.
All right, so not to the fullest extent possible, and we make the team look really good. All right. So Barry sends a mental signal to his armor. And in the control center, where Kelly and Isabella and Banner are all hanging out, of course, we see his armor walk out of its case, go over to the very elaborate computer setup that we have with all of the blinking lights and just, very futuristic. And so we can watch as his armor begins typing and brings up the news on the screen, and we see, the bridge is collapsing, and there is a school bus teetering on the edge. While back in the hallways, Barry is still answering questions about different colors of aliens. But he's managing to slowly move them outside. So we will hand wave this bit a little bit, so that by the time Barry comes back into the headquarters and the tourists are all safely back on their bus, and Tori, the tour guide, she found her inhaler. She is totally okay. He comes back into the headquarters room just in time to see the news camera see Banner flying and lifting the bus of children as people are cheering. And I think that would close the moment.
Nice.
So you get an extra coin in your reserves if you want to grab Nicole's coin that she gave up. That works out fine.
Sure.
For your 3. And we could have given you another. You can always choose to have another achievement whenever you have a moment. But that means that there's going to be another consequence, so if you don't roll so good, just keep in mind.
I'm okay for right now.
Well, I think that probably finishes up your scene.
Yes.
That was really good and fun.
And it was a small scene. It's a good starter to get kind of people familiar with how this is going to work. Then we'll start sticking the screws to each other.
So are you two good? Do you have any questions at this point, or?
I think I got the general gist of it.
So far, yeah.
Awesome. So who wants to go next?
I can go.
Sweet.
Cool.
So that makes you the active player. So now you just get to choose your scene guide.
I will pick Eric because he's done it before.
It's a fantastic choice.
And you are playing Archon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, while Banner is hogging all the glory up there on the spotlight, pulling the bus with all these kids off the bridge, what were you doing?
That is a good question. I was probably finding ways to make sure that bridge got reinforced somehow to make sure it didn't collapse.
Okay. So,
Not probably the most glamorous stuff, but making sure more people don't die.
right.
An important job.
I'd say that it probably quickly becomes apparent that there was some sort of sabotage at work on the bridge. And as you are observing where the bridge has been weakened and some sort of chemical has been added to one of the supports, there is that, again, the moment where the clouds move and this beam of sunlight that you had been kind of standing in at the edge of the bridge is covered over by this darkness. And the darkness, shadow is like it's absorbing sound. Echoes are dull, and everything just seems a lot grayer in these shadowy clouds. What are you going to do about this kind of bit of information that you've gleaned?
I'm going to take some samples of the concrete where it's been sort of messed with and where it's been chemically altered. And I'm going to take it back to my lab so I can work on it, because obviously I can't ask for help with this at all.
Of course not.
I have to figure it out on my own, clearly.
As you're taking samples, one of the onlookers, you can hear him, he nudges his buddy and he's like, "Man, it's like Queenus Quantum's still around. I mean, these heroes, they don't do shit for us, do they?"
Just give them a look. The imposing glare. There you go.
They totally back down.
Or do they?
Ooh.
Mm,
Well, you've got two jokers right there while you're working, so.
yeah. Well, I think I'm going. I think I'm going to keep working anyway. Even if they don't back down, it's not really in my nature to get into an argument with these guys. I think. Anyway.
So, the comedians are a little intimidated and maybe not speaking quite as loudly. But you notice the police forensic investigators are now moving towards your location, trying to start cordoning things off and collecting their own evidence.
Okay. Well, there's nothing that says I can't tell them, so I'll go and speak to the police and tell them a little bit of what I found out.
Okay. I think here in the book they give us a nice little set of pre-made NPCs too.
They did. Let's see. There is Angela Plummer, the social worker in the 9th District of Saga City. Michael Varden, police commissioner. Deborah Craggs, district attorney. Edward Redlaw, who is Isabella's former boyfriend and assistant DA. Sophie, your best friend, who is the coroner for the Saga City Police.
Oh. So, yeah, I think we're going to go there. So you start to head towards the CSI guys, and you notice that the coroner's van has pulled up near another pylon, and you see Sophie coming out to pronounce someone at the scene.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, I will head right over there then.
All right. She kind of looks up, but there's that moment where, does she know? No? Or is she just your friend as Isabella.
Well, I'll have my Archon voice on, obviously.
So she doesn't know your secret.
I don't know if she knows, but I'm not telling her.
Okay.
Just so there's plausible deniability. I'm not telling anyone.
All right. Archon, how can I help you?
What have you found?
It appears that an indigent was living here near the bridge and maybe saw something and was killed for his trouble. Which is a very polite way of talking about the homeless situation in town.
Was it unusual at all?
She debates for a second before she opens the body bag. And it definitely appears like some sort of corrosive was used to melt part of his face off.
I don't make a face. But Nicole does.
I just wanted to point out that now Eric said these things, so he can't claim them. Mm-hmm. But if any of us wanted to claim something like a body bag or melted face or anything like that, we can claim those as part of our claims, and then we can introduce them in any scene at any point if we want to spin the tokens. So just a reminder to put out there whenever someone says body bag.
Mine! Oh, no.
Take it. What? It's great.
Just in case.
That's my public service announcement of the year.
Yeah. Now, remember, can the active player take one of those as well, Sarah? As long as they didn't introduce it?
That's my understanding, I believe.
Okay. Question about Kelly. Does she have the power to speak to the dead?
I'm sorry. I love games that turn out this way.
I'm just like, I just looked at her sheet. I'm like, I have no idea. It says supernatural abilities, but you know.
You can make that a satellite trait.
Yes. That would be an excellent satellite trait.
That would be cool and creepy and kind of goes into what we're doing here.
So I can just make that for her as a satellite trait.
Yep.
Okay, sure. I will. If Kelly is interested in that, then now she can speak to the dead.
So let's go through it a little bit.
Okay.
Would you say that's part of your private knowledge, or is that part of you being a lone wolf?
Probably part of private knowledge, because I can't see how asking someone to do something is really part of lone wolf.
I agree.
Yeah.
So you have three unrelated or three unassigned tokens right now. So something to know about the way the secret works and the vulnerability works is if you lose all your coins and your vulnerability, the vampire gets a hold on you, and you are then, susceptible to their influence, and you could even go over to the dark side, so to speak, and suddenly you're like, hey, this vampire dude, he's actually really cool. But if you lose all of the coins in your secret, if you use them all, then you have to tell us your secret.
Okay.
And you cannot save it for the confrontation against the vampire when it's most powerful.
Right. Okay.
So how many coins do you want to spend on your new Talk to the Dead trait?
Oh, to clarify, I was asking if your character could do that.
Oh, if my character could?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally misunderstood.
No problem.
Can kitsunes and I can see the oni, the demons and stuff. I don't know.
Well, now that becomes a question of, are you going to go ask for assistance?
Oh,
that's why I was saying. That's why I was saying it was sort of like I didn't really see it as a lone wolf sort of thing, because I would have to ask for assistance in that case.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No problem.
Yeah, so I don't know, are you gonna ask me about that? And if so, does this become a moment? Is this a big fictional thingy for your character?
I think it would be important for me to want to know what they saw. So maybe it is a moment where I have to do something to ask for help in that sense.
Okay, so you feel that for your character to actually go and make themselves vulnerable and ask for help would be like a really big deal.
It seems like it, yeah.
Awesome. So that sounds like a moment.
Yeah. So
So you don't know if my character can talk to the dead. That's
No.
part of the, problem of asking for help. I might say no. Oh.
I also know that she's not into the supernatural, even though she has abilities, so...
I am going to say that your consequence is the guy that's writing the biography of the superheroes in town is going to put a big spin on this. Guillermo de Vivar, specializing in superheroes and villains, he's gonna like drag your reputation as the lone wolf through the mud. Now, I don't know, maybe that's something you want, but it's going to be, that kind of like, is the lone wolf changing her tone? Is she going to join the pack finally? Or, there'll be a lot of questions in like the newspaper about your reputation.
Because it was public, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think the achievement will be that Kelly can in fact speak to the dead, and we get some information out of the homeless unfortunate that is helpful towards the situation.
Okay.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
What do I have to roll here?
Well, first we should either you have to define a new satellite trait, or you can use lone wolf.
Okay.
Because technically, I guess that's a satellite trait. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. You like.
Because those are like the ones that you start out with. So you can either call on your lone wolf trait, or you can make a new one, and it's how many tokens you're spending is how many dice you get to roll.
Right now, there's just one consequence and one thing. You could add more, but then you really got to be spending dice.
Okay. I think I'll use the lone wolf one for now, because anything that I make will just kind of help me with it. And so I don't want to do that. So what do I do there? Move a token, or?
Yeah, you'll decide how many tokens you want to use.
Okay, I will use...
Because right now you have five up there. But once you run out of tokens for a trait, then you can't use it anymore.
Okay, I'll use one for now to start out.
That will give you 1 die.
1 die? Okay, I'll use 2 then to start out. There we go. All right, so 1d6 on each.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Let's see. So you got a 4 and a 2.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't sound so gleeful at that, should I?
that is a little. That's hard.
Aw, I'm
That's
sorry.
tough. It's tough to decide.
Well, it's cool though, because like now you have a bigger spread on dice than we had last time, so it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So my glee was not at your emotional pain. I'm not a terrible person. So your options are, if you use the 2 on the achievement, it means you don't get your achievement. But if you use it on the consequence, it means that the consequence does happen, and when the moment closes, you spend an additional coin out of your lone wolf trait. So it's going to cost you.
Right.
Whereas the 4, you can either get the achievement or you can barely avoid the consequence and you get a coin.
I think I will put the 2 on the consequence and the 4 on the achievement, because I think I want to know what's going on, and it's more entertaining that way. So I will move that coin now so I don't forget. There we go. So I'm going to be in the paper. Sucks to be me.
Aww.
Aw, yeah.
That's what I like about this game is I like games that encourage you to punch your character in the face, and this game really does that.
Yeah, it's totally true.
I'm actually really happy with that result, so I'm not going to mess with it with any of my claims. Michael, do you want to weigh in on this situation, or?
I might.
Sarah?
I'm thinking about it.
Oh, what the heck. I will spend a coin and bump the consequence down to the 1.
Oh!
Wow! All right.
Righteous demeanor.
I am so
Sucks to be
amused.
me.
Full force consequence.
Oh, but you know, you can remember that later on whenever it's his turn.
Totally.
It's true.
Can be in the tabloids and everything.
Ooh.
Another consequence, and places a die with a value of 3 on it. Oh dear.
So that means Eric will come up with another consequence, and it will be that the consequence happens, though not to the fullest possible extent. And that means that there's another chance for me and Michael to interfere, as well as Nicole, you can spend some of your own tokens to try, you can make that a 4. That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So this is kind of almost like a negotiation betting part of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, you know, you can spend these tokens, but we're still in the first part of the game. So
Yeah, exactly.
I am going to place a consequence, which is haunted,
Ooh,
Ooh,
on you.
that's a good one.
that's really good.
It's not terrible right now.
No, it can get there, but no, that's fine. Okay, I will. Do I still have to spend a coin on that? On that 3?
Well, no, because you got that because the 1.
Okay.
So now, basically, so you put, right now, haunted is at 3. Your consequence, the first one, is at 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then your achievement is at 4.
Okay.
So you can spend tokens to change those. You can, the haunted, you can bump that down, or bump that up to a 4, and then you will avoid it by spending tokens.
I think that's a good one. I'll keep that.
Okay. Michael, would you like to mess with Nicole some more?
I'm good for now.
Then I'm going to pile on, because let's make this equal opportunity terribleness. I am going to spend one of my tokens to change that 3 to a 2.
Ooh.
Wow.
So you're also going to have to spend an additional coin out of your lone wolf trait.
Okay.
Yeah. It's getting nasty now.
Yeah, it is, really. Look at this.
It'll be my or Michael's turn next. It'll be fine.
It's true.
I mean, it is a vampire game.
And I mean, I just want to point out, like, we've only done, like, one stake and one consequence. We haven't really gotten into, like, here are 3 or 4 things on the sheet.
You know, token madness.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay. I'm not going to mess with that because I'm really liking where that goes.
Yeah.
Does anybody else? Everybody's passing? Everybody's good?
Passing.
Yep.
Archon is going to take the haunting, huh?
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, so not only is, like, the camera crew watching you have to ask her, and you can see the cameraman and the reporter instantly start talking, and they are so excited about something, and you know that it's not going to be cute for you.
It's not cute.
But Kitsune actually can speak with the dead.
Even though Kelly would argue she's not really talking to the dead because that would be a supernatural thing. It's more, you know, kind of communing with their lingering essence in a very more like, you know, like how you can pick up echoes of stuff with electronic devices. It's really scientific, really.
How much latitude do I have to mess with your character as an NPC in this?
If you would like Kelly to interact, I will play her. If there's something you particularly would like to happen, I am giving you free reign to mess with me as much as you want.
So I'm going to say that Kelly has to do something really distasteful to the body.
Oh, man.
So
like, Archon, you know you're going to owe me for this, right?
Yes, well.
Or you could convince Archon to do the distasteful thing while you say a set of particular words. You wouldn't call them a prayer, but they're words that might facilitate this.
There's specific tones that echo on multiple planes and levels.
Right,
and
right. They bypass the brains between multiverses and allow this communication to occur.
Of course.
And since we know what's getting ready to happen, I'm going to say that that's actually what you do.
So, Archon, how exactly do you ask me to talk to the dead?
I think basically what I would say very awkwardly is there is a person who has passed away, and they probably know something about how this bridge was collapsed, and I know that you can possibly speak or at least tap into the essences and energies of people that have passed away. So if you could possibly do that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Are you asking me for a favor?
Yes, well, that's what we do for each other. We're in a team. We do favors.
It's not help. It's a favor. It's totally different.
I think this is help because I don't think you could do this without me.
Well, no, of course not. How
Oh
would
my
I
god,
speak
the
to
cameraman is like, you could tell he's zooming in on your faces while this conversation is happening.
I'll do it, but I need your help with my. It's not a ritual.
Of course not.
It's nothing shady or,
Of course,
cheesy.
fully scientific. I understand.
I'm gonna need you to open up the body and sit inside it.
What?
Yeah, the guts, and you should. So you have to like cut them open down the middle, and then you get in and you kind of have to like squirm a little because the spine will be poking you in a very uncomfortable spot. And
Like
then,
a kayak?
yes, a body kayak.
That's horrifying.
I'm sorry, I should have warned you before playing with me. And then you have to take the intestines, both the small and the large intestine, and you have to wrap them around your neck 9 times, and then I will say the right words, and then we can discuss with this individual what they know about what happened before they passed on.
You're lying about the last part. You just want me to wrap intestines around my neck.
You only have to do it 6 times, but
Okay, well, we have to clear the camera crew because they can't see that. That can't happen.
Hey, you,
Your
Top boy.
friend is more than help. Your friend, the assistant coroner, is like, perhaps we could go into the coroner's van before you guys. Her eyes are like this.
Yeah.
She is just absolutely
desecrate the corpse.
horrified that you are casually talking about opening a body of a human being and sitting in it like a canoe. Like, she's not really sure you're heroes anymore. Like, but she at least offers to get you in the van and away from the camera crew before you engage in desecration of a dead body.
I look like I agree with her and appreciative at the same time.
Fine, but it's like gonna smell worse in there.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to smell worse.
I accept that.
Okay. Are you actually going to wrap the intestines around your neck? Or do you think she's just messing with you at this point?
I think she's messing with me.
Okay. Cool. Then that is exactly why you get haunted.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes.
So, you guys are in this van. The van from the outside rocks a little bit as you were cutting open a human being and cracking open their ribs, and the two of you are in there trying to spread his ribs apart. You get situated in the human canoe. Kitsune says these words, and from behind you, but not where the head is, but like right on your right ear,
Where the intestines should be, probably.
there's a voice going, but he's dead. I know he's dead. I saw it on the news. I saw it. Oh God! And then this gurgling sound, and for just a second, like just out of the peripheral vision, because you are highly trained and are always looking, you see the face, the rotted, melted part of the face, just barely make eye contact with you and then back behind you.
That was fantastic.
Please be aware, we do have an X card. I'm assuming that if I'm going where people don't want to go, you will use that.
No problem.
Okay. I just wanted to remind people it is there.
I make a lot of faces. It's just my thing.
That's cool. You now just, you never quite feel alone. And maybe it was just the trauma, but like you're leaving the scene, you're going back to your workspace to do your research, and it's like you kind of keep seeing that face.
Just over the shoulder. Creepy.
Wow.
That was great. Oh,
And someone's not dead. Damn it.
A lot of people aren't
Yeah.
dead, actually, but
I'll throw the telegraph out there.
A lot of
Let 'em
people
bring it.
are dead, but
Right.
someone's not. So
our supervillain comes back to haunt us. That was super great, and that was also so that was great narration and great reaction on you, Nicole, for totally going with the human canoe.
not totally, but almost. No intestines.
Well, I was waiting to see where Sarah was going to go and where I could just inject what is the thing that she's not going to do that leads to her getting haunted? Or is it just going to be like, yeah, you're doing this ritual, yeah, it's gross. The reason that the Kitsune doesn't do it is because she knows she will be haunted. It's just like, you sit in the canoe, yeah, I'm not.
Go ahead. Have fun. It's good. It's all good.
Look, somebody's got to sit in this corpse.
And it's not going to be me, all right?
This is my nice outfit. Like,
It is your nice outfit. You're out there in front of the camera, you know?
that's right. Hi, Puka.
The coroner is nice enough to drive away with the two of you in the van so that you don't have to get out of the van covered in viscera.
In gore, right.
That's good.
That's nice of them.
It's a plus.
Nicole, are you good with that being your moment?
Yep, yeah, I'm fine. She would probably just take the ride back, have a shower, do some testing of concrete. That would be about it.
Awesome.
Try and just put that out of her mind. Today was not the day I sat in a human canoe.
And like, every time you think about it, that face.
Oh, that face is right there.
It seems to be getting more into your full vision every time.
Maybe I'll lose it when we kill the vampire.
That's very optimistic.
I try to be optimistic. I try.
It's your fault that I had to sit in a corpse.
So, Michael, would you like to be the active player next?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Who would you like to be your scene guide?
Sarah, why don't you do it?
Okay. Even after the human canoe, you want me to do that?
I have learned what questions not to ask.
Don't ask anything about dead people.
So for your character, one of the suggested scenes is a frightened, unruly crowd cannot be contained by your usual methods. When a news crew is taken hostage by a madman, you have to save them while being televised live. We can finish up with the school children on the bridge, or if there's something else you have an idea for.
No, yeah, let's do the suggested one. Let's move on.
Okay.
He's fresh from having pulled that van or pulled the bus to safety, feeling good about himself right now. Let's tear him down a little bit.
Yeah. The days after, you're like, everybody saw that part of the news and saw Banner specifically, since he wasn't involved in desecrating a corpse, saw him lifting the children to safety.
That should be like our bar. Everything should be compared to that now. Is that better or worse?
Okay. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, like, I wanted to set the bar low so that I could see how yeah.
I didn't say where the bar was. I'm just saying.
All right.
There's plenty of room to go above it.
So you've been riding high off this for the past couple of days. It's very much a thing, like kids passing in the street, say your name and run after you, and they want your autograph. It's a little bit more affection from the city than you're used to even. It's very intoxicating. And so you are, wow, was that Merlin?
That was Merlin.
Hi, Kitty. He sounded bad. Okay. So it is late at night in Saga City. And there is a rock star has come into town, and he's playing at a local club. And Banner, this isn't the normal thing you would go to. In fact, you just happen to be in the neighborhood, hanging out doing alien things. What is it that you're doing? It's late at night, crisp fall night, and you can see these crowds of kids going into a nightclub.
So Banner has a guy who's kind of like his Jimmy Olsen, and he has decided that Banner finally, in the wake of this, is going to be his drink ticket for the night. So Banner's at a bar nearby.
Of course. So you're drinking, enjoying, still the goodwill of the city. Right. I bet there's a couple of shots there for free.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That seems likely.
And various attractive people of various gender are eyeing you from the corner. But so you had seen this crowd of teenagers whenever you had come into the bar. And now, as you're sitting there enjoying your free drinks, you heard the concert start, and it's some like really heavy band. You can hear the driving bass and drums are actually kind of like shaking the bar you're in a little bit. They're so loud, and you can hear the kids like screaming in delight. But then the screaming gets louder, and the bass kind of stutters, and then it stops. And so you can hear this wail of humanity coming from the concert space nearby. And when you stumble out into the streets, you can see the nightclub is all lit up on the inside. And you can hear a police siren on its way. And, this neighborhood isn't the best one. There's broken glass in the gutters, and everywhere it just smells like pot, especially right around the nightclub. But you can hear people screaming inside the building. So what do you do?
Banner is going to suggest that, as is the human custom, to let the night keep going, and let's go over to that bar over there and see what's going on over there. Let's go check out whatever that music is. That sounds really cool.
Okay. So whenever you get to the door, this nightclub, it's this big 2-story brick building, and the brick's been painted black. Because of course.
Because of course it has.
And normally there's one of those big, beefy bruiser guys sitting on a stool outside the door, checking IDs. But right now, there's no one there. The stool that he normally sits on has fallen to the side, and the door is slightly ajar.
Okay. Banner will pick the stool up, set it where it should be, and look around to see where the bouncer might have gone off to, and then peek in the door.
Okay. Whenever you open the door, there's a little bit of an antechamber before you get into the main part of the nightclub. And it's completely dark in the antechamber. And whenever you stick your head in, all you can smell is like sweat and stale beer. And pot, still. And there's just this inhuman wailing, and now you can hear like bodies slamming against each other, and there's the higher notes of women screaming mixed with actually men screaming, the much deeper tones. And the only light you can see is coming from inside the actual nightclub, probably about where the stage is, and you see this flickering of light, like a strobe light.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear more than one voice scream, "Zenas! Zenas!" So what are you going to do?
He stands for a moment, awestruck, and has a bit of a flashback, and then dashes immediately, leaving Jimmy Olsen clone behind into the club.
His name's Jimmy.
Okay.
Okay, so you run into the club?
Yeah, he just bolts right into the club, ready to like throw down with anybody who's there.
So once you're in the actual club proper, you can see that all of the kids who were there to see the concert have like pushed themselves back against the far wall, and there are people laying on the ground moaning in pain. It looks like they trampled them, and they're all trying to get back from the stage. So whenever you turn and look at the stage, the light flashes out at that moment, silhouetting a man standing on stage, and he's holding a bloody skull with the spine still attached in his hands.
Whoa.
Nice. Metal.
Yeah.
Surprising kids are like, yeah!
Well, after your eyes clear a little bit, you realize there is a body on the stage next to the man holding the skull. So.
Okay.
That helps.
At least we don't have to wonder where it came from. Where would one get a skull at this? Oh, okay. Okay. Banner is going to push past the crowd, just fully, still kind of in his flashback mode, unfortunately, and make his way directly towards the stage. Thinking that this is terrible. This is what's going on here. This must be some sort of battle that I need to engage in.
Hey, Sarah?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and move one from my reserves to claim Bloody Skulls.
I love that so much. Please claim all the bloody skulls. So funny. I'm also going to say that this seems to be coming to a moment.
Yeah.
It does seem that way, yes.
Since we're getting all climatic there. And metal. Because so Michael.
I'm sure at some point he would have like briefly thought, is this the tradition around here? No, this does not seem to be the tradition here.
Awesome.
No.
Actually,
Our tradition does not involve pulling the skulls and spinal columns out of people.
Quick reference check,
It does
no.
involve turning them into canoes.
Yeah, I'm not claiming body canoe.
I'm really tempted.
You should. It's fully yours.
Oh my god, so funny.
Oh,
All right. So in order for this to be a moment, you should generate a satellite trait. It sounds like you might be going off your vulnerability, that you are looking at it in a fairly philosophical way. But if you want to base it on your secret and your righteous demeanor, you can do that too.
I'm totally going to base it off of his secret.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
All right. So what do you think this trait is that you're exhibiting?
Can you give me like some examples of what the traits might be?
Sure. So you seem to be acting very recklessly. And since you're basing it on your secret, it's supposed to tie into your secret.
Mm-hmm.
Which, since I'm kind of facilitating this, I'm going to cheat and look at your secret.
That's fine.
Oh yes. So perhaps you're being reckless because it reminds you're seeing a reflection of yourself on stage.
I like it.
All right.
Yeah, I like that. I was thinking decisive action, but I like that a lot.
Yeah. Especially with his secret, it works really well. So you have 4 tokens to spend, and however many you spend gets doubled. How many would you like to put on that particular trait? So if you spend 2, you'll get 5.
Okay.
Or you can do more or less, or whatever you want to do.
Right. And what happens to the remaining one? It just
They're still
stays.
part of your secret pool.
Okay.
So whenever you generate another satellite trait later on, also you can rearrange your tokens at certain points. So.
Okay. We'll do 2 then. So.
Okay. So these two will stay outside for you.
Right.
And then I'll grab 3 of them down for you. So how many dice do you want to roll?
I'm going to roll 3.
Yeah?
Just to make things interesting. Yes.
Okay. But we also have to decide your consequences and your achievements. Fun. So let's see. I think the way we're going to have to do the consequence is it's revealed that it is indeed Zenus who is up on stage holding the lead singer's skull.
Okay. So the achievement will be that it is one of Zenus's henchmen, and we will be able to question him to gain information about Zenus.
So the only thing is, you can't set it up so that you can contradict either the consequence or the achievement.
Oh, okay.
Can't contradict each other.
Okay.
So maybe you guys feel free to help me out here. So maybe your achievement would be that you get the concert goers safely away.
Okay.
Or that you spectacularly beat his ass or something like that.
Okay, we'll go with the routing and saving the concert goers.
All right.
And hang on one sec. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Really? Cat shenanigans. Okay.
We're all familiar with those.
That's like the other theme for the day.
So that's only 1 consequence and 1 achievement, and you're spending 3 coins.
Right. So I need to come up with another achievement? Or...
This is one of those things where the rules say can.
Okay. I thought it just gave me more options, but...
Yeah. I think you're right. I think I made the mistake of reading a sentence wrong and confusing myself. That totally can happen. Yeah, because you're spending 3 coins to roll the dice, and then if you want additional outcomes, you would spend more tokens. And then I would come up with some more consequences for you. So
Okay, yeah, it does say spends number of coins equal to the outcomes.
yeah. See, that's where I read
Rolls
that and I was
that
like,
number of dice.
hmm,
So yeah, that is a little confusing.
yeah,
So 3 dice means 3 outcomes.
yeah, because it talks about odd number of coins.
Right.
Well, you said save concert goers, and then also what was the second thing you wanted?
Well, yeah, we could have gain some sort of clue as to what Zenus is up to.
You could maybe track him to his
Or-
hideout or something.
Right.
Well, I was going to do as a second consequence to your clue that he gets away.
Okay. So wait, would that be 2 dice then?
No,
Or is it one die per achievement or 1 die per consequence? Sorry.
you're paying your coins for your achievements, and as a scene guide, I automatically generate a consequence every time.
okay.
You don't have to pay for them.
Okay.
So now you're at 2.
Okay.
Are you good with 2, or do you want another one?
I'm good with 2.
All right. So if you want to pay your 2 tokens, and then roll 2 die. Does this seem right to you, Eric?
Yes, it does. And I just realized that I had done my math wrong in our first scene.
That's okay. It happens. It's no big deal.
I keep forgetting that like you said, each token is technically 2 dice.
Right.
1 for each category.
All right, Michael.
Oh,
2 and a 4.
Okay. So that's a good spread there too. That's what.
Another 2 and a 4.
Yeah.
He needs to roll 2 more dice, correct? He has 2 outcomes and 2 consequences.
So.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do I need to spend more tokens or?
Nope.
No.
So 2 dice per token?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
Oops, forgot slash. I'm like waiting for it to where's my results? There we go. Oh, all right.
But now you can mix and match those 4 results amongst the 4
Okay.
things that are up for grabs.
Okay.
So you have a 2, a 4, a 4, and a 1. So bear in mind that if you put the 1 on a consequence, you get another consequence with no achievement.
And we saw how fun that was.
It just keeps going. Fun never ends.
Okay. I'm gonna put these in the chat so I can keep track of them. So we're going to put a 4 for saving the clubgoers. We'll do.
So that means you'll gain the achievement. No shenanigans yet.
Right. Give up an achievement or have really bad things happen?
Well,
Now, what are the 2 consequences?
One of them was he gets away.
Yeah. And the other one is that it actually is your archvillain back from the dead.
Right.
On stage.
I'm going to do a 4 for he gets away. Not get away. At least yet. I'll let you guys mess with things. And then so one for the other achievement or the other consequence. So we don't gain any clues.
But you don't get an additional consequence.
And the other one was
A 2?
right, 2 for clubgoers. Clues. Which one am I forgetting?
Oh, that it's Xanis on stage.
Right. Okay. So 2 for that one.
So I'll talk this through to help you.
Okay.
Or Xenos, or how do you say it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do this way, Xenos is on stage, and you have to pay an additional token.
Right.
He doesn't get away, and you get a token in your reserves. You do save the concert goers. However, there is no clue as to what he is up to or where he's going.
That sounds about right to me.
Okay. I am going to try and remember all of that as I narrate. And if you want to... Sorry?
A lot of points there, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to move tokens around while that would help me out.
Okay. So...
Okay.
So
I
I'm
gain
going
one
to
more.
actually
Unless you guys
yeah.
want to screw with him.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to spend a claim off of, what was it? Off of Time Stand Still and increase the saving the club goers to a 5.
Ooh.
Save those clubgoers.
Save the hell out of them.
That's right.
Well, it actually is a nice benefit for you.
Yeah. So that means you'll save the club goers, save the hell out of them, as Nicole said. And whenever this is over, you'll add a coin back to your new trait.
I think I'm going to spend one on Xenos getting away, so it goes down to 3, because I think he should get away.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm spending my utility belt on that.
Yeah, he should get away.
It's not time for him to get caught yet. He needs to get away.
Oh, we haven't even gotten into Act 3 yet. That's...
So for our one viewer and people playing around at home, that means that Isabella only has one token left on her utility belt in Imposing Glare. Barry has 2 lucky shots, 1 time stand still, and 1 bloody skull. Kelly has 1 fox and 1 demoralizing quip. But Banner still has 2 super strength and 2 skyscraper. Hoarding all those tokens over there, Banner.
They'll come in eventually. Just out of curiosity, what is skyscraper exactly?
So that means I can. I own that. I own all mentions of skyscrapers.
Got it.
Or you do. Sorry. Yeah.
So, I use Time Stand Still because I'm like, there's that moment where you see him, and you know that it's Xenos, and there's that moment in the movie where you pause and slow-mos.
You see like a heroic shot of, or like a villainous shot of him grinning. You're like, ooh.
Right.
It's got that depth of focus, so it goes from the skull
Right.
to his grinning face and back.
Nice.
I mean, so that's the thing. It's like, if you are like, someone is crashing through a skyscraper because you want to get involved in a scene with a claim.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so there is that breathless moment. As Banner, you realize it is your nemesis, Zenith Quantum, up on that stage holding that bloody skull. And he's grinning at you while the kids, the teenagers, are screaming and trying to get away from him. So you tell me how it is that you make the place safer for them.
Okay. Banner will, and still kind of in the moment here, run up to this stage, leap up on it, and grab the microphone and exhort everybody to leave immediately, and assure them he has everything under control.
And do you you point at the entrance that you'd come in to
Totally.
let them know? Okay.
Like, exits are...
I kind of like that Banner's so, like, unemotional about this. It's a very alien reaction. So yes, you point at the door, and it's kind of like you broke the hive mind, and the kids begin streaming towards that exit, giving the stage a wide berth. And Zenith has dropped the skull, and he actually kind of kicks it off the stage at one of the kids and laughs at them, and then turns to look at you. And he is this very tall, pallid, bald man in a long black leather coat, and his hands are stained red with blood. And he laughs at you and says, "Aren't you glad to see me, Banner?"
I'll be glad to see you once you're dead again.
There will be time indeed for that. And he flicks his hands at you, and the blood comes off his hands in a wave. And you're just kind of bowled backwards by this rush of blood. And whenever you get your eyes clear and look around, you see that he's gone. You can't tell how he got out. But whenever you stagger out onto the street and you're covered in this blood and all you smell is copper, outside is the full police force and all the concert goers. And one of the paramedics comes up to you and kind of hesitantly hands you a towel, like, I'm not sure what you need from us. Here.
Banner doesn't even look at the paramedic. He just kind of takes the towel.
All the kids are okay, by the way. I'll go in there and look at the band.
One of them will probably be needing a hearse. Actually, definitely be needing a hearse.
Good job on getting the kids out, though.
Yeah.
He kind of sidles past you very nervously.
I was thinking, too, one of the reasons that Zenith could have gotten away was Banner had a moment of doubt.
Ooh, I would really like that.
That's in line with his vulnerability.
Oh, that's a good idea. So let's play that back a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe you hesitated before he threw the blood at you? And why is that?
It's because he kind of glances out as he's looking at all the people that he's saving. He's like, are they actually worth saving?
Oh!
Banner doesn't come to this part of town very often. He's questioning things now. He's like, I don't know,
I
but
think we have clearly pulled our gleaming heroes down into sense. Really the past couple of scenes.
Wow, that was kind of brutal. I think that's an excellent place to end this.
Sweet.
That was messed up. Alrighty. I feel like I've talked so much that I'm actually kind of surprised that it's my turn to be the active player.
Did Gracie come back inside? No.
So, Nicole, would you like to give a try at being a scene guide?
Sure, I'll give it a try.
So
look at it like this. You've got all the rest of us to lean on. We're gonna get through this. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the suggested scene for Kitsune is an Oni disguised as a cat, moves in with her family and hypnotizes all of them but her. Or an unknown force wreaks havoc at the Saga City Science Fair.
Okay.
Or we can build off one of the existing scenes.
Okay.
I'm sorry to bug you. Do you know what happened in the bathroom?
Let's do the science fair, because I think that might be interesting for you. I don't know.
Okay.
Especially since it's less of the supernatural side. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's think. What is sorry, wrong one. What does Kelly do at school? What sort of classes does she go to?
Well, whenever I have a couple of free periods, and I normally spend those either in the science lab or the library.
Okay.
And in between classes, I spend a lot of time patrolling the halls because, man, I do not hang with bullies. I will not tolerate that.
Okay, cool. So in between classes, you've probably been working on your science fair project. Do you have any ideas for what that might be?
Oh, now that's funny because real life Sarah never participated in a science fair. And
I
my
never have either.
my main knowledge of science fair projects is like you make the volcano. So let's say that I have this very elaborate setup of koi fish. And how by adjusting different aspects in their environment, whether or not they thrive. And I even have one at the end who started to grow like little tentacles, tentacle fish.
Cool. So you're probably like creeping out everybody in your classes, and your teachers too are probably a little freaked out by you, but they're like, great, Kelly, just keep doing what you're doing. You're so much smarter than the rest of the class and the rest of us. So they're probably just sort of really guiding you on doing this and not really messing too much with you as far as things go. But the science fair is coming up in the next probably sometime in the next day or so. But while you've been working on it, you've noticed that a few people's projects have sort of the typical volcano and things like that has blown up. There's been a few little mishaps with people working on it. Nothing major, but people who you would think are not total, noobs at science are managing to really mess up their projects.
I like this.
So there's just a couple of them that have gone horribly wrong in the last few days, and a few people that you know that are friends of yours or just classmates are really starting to freak out because they can't figure out why. So far, it hasn't affected you yet.
Okay. If it helps, it looks like my best friend is Maggie.
Okay. So let's say Maggie's been working on a electricity project, and
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. And
Sounds like that can go horribly wrong.
yes, exactly. So Maggie's been working on an electricity project, and while you're working with your fish today, she's off working to the side. And things have been going okay with her. She's been trying to help a few of the people whose projects have gone wrong because hers has been going so well. Obviously, you wouldn't be friends with someone who's like not bright enough to hang with you.
Right.
And but today there's some weird sparking happening over there.
Are you playing Maggie or?
I can play Maggie unless somebody else wants to.
By the silence? All right.
Okay, I'll be Maggie. So there you go.
I look up from feeding the tentacled fish. Hey, Maggie, are you okay over there? Because you got some sparks.
I don't know what's wrong here. I mean, everything's the same, but it's all, I don't know. I haven't rewired anything. I can't see if anyone's done anything. Do you think someone would mess with my project?
Well, I mean, you have won the science fair for the past 2 years. So
well, there is that. I'm pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, those fish are pretty excellent, too. I mean, I wouldn't do anything to them, but, as she's about to talk, as she's talking, it's like an electrical current practically leaps out from her science fair project and jumps to her, and she's like shaking, and it's as if she's being electrocuted. What do you do?
Whoa.
Maggie! And of course, since I know better than to touch someone who's being electrocuted,
Very smart.
I grab the nearest plastic chair, those ones that are all like one piece with metal legs, and I throw it at her to try and knock her down and away from the current.
Would that be necessary? I don't know. Would that be a moment necessary thing? Perhaps.
It certainly could be.
Let's do that and see, because there's something else going on here, so let's see about that.
So you're saying yes, a moment?
Yes, let's do a moment.
All right. So, looking at my satellite traits here. Demoralizing quips. Sorry.
That's one of the best traits ever.
I think I'll have to build a satellite trait out of my secret. Because the lingering guilt. So, I think I'm going to make a satellite trait called, I'm thinking like, oops, my bad. So Kelly kind of blames herself.
Yeah.
For everything.
That makes sense.
So I'm going to spend 2 of my secret tokens, which will give me a total of 5. And then let's go with, let's be all ambitious and crazy here, and go ahead and spend 3 of these bad boys.
Ooh.
Because I trust that Nicole will make something truly nefarious.
She has 3 opportunities to. This should be great.
All right. So, do you want me to pick an achievement first?
Sure. Let's start with that.
Okay. So I'm going to put that Maggie is unharmed.
Okay. The opposite to that, obviously, would be, I'm not going to go with Maggie dies, since that seems a little obvious.
Well, the consequence shouldn't be the direct opposite.
Yeah.
Like, all these things should be able to happen to some degree or another.
Okay. I'm going to say Maggie is harmed by the electric bolt as the opposite consequence to that. Does that
Right.
work?
Like it shouldn't be the opposite.
Okay, it shouldn't be opposite. Okay, so she's unharmed. The other
Because in theory, if it could happen that she gets her result and you get your consequence, so you want them to both be able to be true.
Okay. All right. So let's see.
I can see why there's writing involved in this game.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
definitely a notepad or note card kind of game, because...
yeah, totally. Okay, if she's unharmed, I would say... Man, I'm having a hard time with this. If anybody has suggestions, please feel free, but I think another...
Well, and it's totally like me to screw my own character, but you said you thought there was something more going on here, so maybe when the consequences could deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I was actually going to suggest Monster Unleashed.
Oh, really? Well, okay, so the consequences...
Maybe the little fish experiment gets away while you're distracted, and
hey,
we'll have to deal with that at a later time.
What you got against fish, man?
Nothing. Tentacle fish are awesome.
Okay, so the consequences, whatever is taking over Maggie's experiment takes over her.
Ooh, that's evil. I like it. Okay. So Maggie's unharmed, but she's taken over by some force. And I am able to lead it away from the other students.
Oh, okay.
Since obviously it's going to be something that thinks foxes are tasty.
So is that another advantage, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get another consequence.
Okay, if you're able to lead it away from the students, it will cause some sort of damage to your kitsune powers.
Oh. Oh.
Nice.
It's going to cut off one of your tails.
Oh.
Damn it. You don't believe in that, though. It's okay.
And so for my last outcome, I'm going to choose that I'm able to contain the force.
Okay. I would say the consequence there is it's going to get out and get you in the future if you contain it.
So a temporary prison.
Yeah, it's a temporary prison, and it's going to come for you. It has a grudge.
That seems very vampire game-ish. I like that.
Yeah. It's an angry spirit of some kind.
Yeah, I like this.
So it will bear a grudge.
Yeah.
Because that way, even if she doesn't imprison it, it will bear a grudge.
Yeah, exactly. It will be like, Kelly, I hate her. She's going down.
Oh, I like this. All right. So I'm going to be rolling 6 dice?
6 dice.
6d6.
Okay. Ooh, 2 1s and 2 6s.
Oh, wait, this is crazy. All right, so there's something, you do something with 6s. Are fancy, and 1s. All right. This is insane. All right. All right. So let's go with, I have 2 6s, 2 1s, 4, and a 2. That's a lot of different bad things happen. So I don't want to put either of the ones on any of the consequences because that would be really bad. So I'm going to say that I'm putting the first one on Maggie as unharmed.
Okay.
Oh, Maggie.
Oh, poor Maggie.
I'm throwing Maggie under the bus.
But you're keeping her from getting possessed by whatever's in there. That's...
And then the other one I'm going to put in leading away from the other students.
Everybody's getting thrown under the bus, apparently.
That's right.
Yes.
I hope it's a big bus.
Let's see. And then, so, I'm going to say that the 6 is Maggie taking over.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 6 will be that it cuts off my tail. Oh. So that leaves me with the 2 and the 4. So 4. Okay, so the contained force is a 2, and the temporary prison is a 4. This may not be the most interesting way for me to do it, but it mitigates the most harm, I think. Maybe.
To who?
Can you type that up for us real quick?
Yeah, I can totally do that. All right.
Just because I got to figure out if I want to mess with you or not.
That makes total sense. Okay.
Okay.
And then there's coins that have to go around and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to that after you guys are done messing with me.
Okay, I'll wait and see what people are doing.
I'm actually okay with that because she threw everybody under the bus. She came out smelling pretty good, but she threw everybody under the bus to do it. I'm happy with that.
You say that like that might lead to fiction that condemns my character to being closer to the vampire or something.
I'm not the one who pulled all them points off my secret.
Is the temporary prison, was that the consequence or the achievement?
The temporary prison, that was a consequence.
I'm going to bump that down to a 3.
Oh. Let's see here.
So it will be looking for revenge.
Let me see here. Do I want to block that? Probably not. And Nicole, of course, even as the active guide, I believe you can still mess with me if you'd like.
Oh, okay. I would keep that in mind. I'm just trying to keep everything straight.
No, I totally get it. Whenever there's like a bunch of outcomes, oh man, it's like, yeah.
So, Michael, what are you pulling your claim off of to mess with her?
I'm going to pull up super strength.
Nice.
That
makes sense.
That bodes badly for me.
It was too powerful for the prison.
Oh,
Nice.
good thing. Body canoes and tentacled fish. All right. Are we playing this game right? I think we're playing this game right.
Oh yeah, we're playing this game right.
Oh, are you doing okay, Nicole?
Yep.
All right. I think I'll let Michael's change stand.
Okay.
So.
All right. So for cool to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when Maggie is attached to her, keep taking out the wrong headphone. When Maggie's attached to her science project and shaking, you try and throw the chair, and it kind of bounces off of the electrical field. And the energy seems to fully move into her body and fill her. And when she looks at you, her eyes are filled with electricity. And she doesn't even look like the same person anymore. She looks at you, and you don't even recognize her. Her eyes are just blank and filled with lightning. And she flings out a hand to shoot electricity at you. And basically throws you against the wall. And I don't know how you try and imprison her.
Well, I turn into a fox to escape her grasp.
So you leap out of her way, and she's unable to trap you in her electricity prison, or whatever she's trying to do. But she does hit, as you leap out of the way, she hits your fish.
Oh!
Your fish are electrocuted, and the ones with tentacles start to move and climb out of the tank and start to follow her as, like, koi fish tentacle minions. And it's incredibly creepy to watch. Thankfully, in your fox form, you can leap up onto the top of bureaus and stuff, so it's hard for them to get up to you. They can't really climb. But as the sound and the noise and everything that's happening starts to filter out into the hallway, students start to run and see what's happening, and she completely loses track of you and starts to see all these other students that she can attack. And so
I'm feeling regret at how I spent my coins.
her focus moves entirely to them. And it's as if she's like just sucking the life force out of them as she hits them with these things. And kids are just dropping as she moves through the hallway. Just people's bodies falling.
Zot.
And she just walks out entirely. She just leaves you there and walks out. But you have this sense from the way that she looked at you that she hasn't forgotten you in your human form, or the fact that you can turn into a fox. And once you come out of your fox form, there's a lot to clean up in the school. If you'd like to call your friends in the Heroic League, there's probably some help that they could give you, because there's a lot of freaked out kids, and some of them aren't dead. They're just drained of energy, but quite a few are.
So I pull out my cell phone and I call Barry and I'm like, hey, you remember my science experiment that I was talking about?
The one that I told you was a bad idea?
Yeah?
What about it?
Could you guys come to the school?
Did you win something?
God.
I think we're
Barry
going
goes full on Picard double face palm. And I'll be right there. I'm not telling the other two yet. Let's see what happens.
So Barry and Kelly have a little science student confab, and they go from there. They commiserate about science experiments gone wrong. And I guess unless you need to do anything else, that's pretty good.
That was excellent, Nicole. That was excellent.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that made me so happy, and I'm such a terrible person. Oh.
I'm glad I could kill people for you.
And you get thrown under the bus. And you get thrown under the bus.
Everybody gets thrown under the bus. Exactly.
You got a ton of reserve out of that, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should look at that. That was so funny.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
you got a lot of
brutal.
tokens out of that for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. So, let's see. So, 1, 3. Well, the 3 is a achievement, so I don't get any coins from that. 1, 2, and then temporary prisoner. So I get 3 coins.
Nice.
That's
In
cool.
my reserves. So the thing with the reserves is whenever it's time for a moment, and also at one of the later stages of the game, you can shift your tokens around. So like how Nicole's utility belt is getting a little low, she'll be able to put more tokens in there so she can claim more stuff.
Cool.
Or add on more satellite traits. So that's how that works.
Cool.
And
So that,
I like the game because it makes you take some consequence. It makes you decide: are you going to take these consequences or?
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different from just like a straightforward story game in that, you know, your options are actually kind of constrained, which is good.
Right.
All right, so that was the first part of the game, the laying the foundation. So the next part is called, one moment as I flip through the rules, is the confrontation, is that right? Or did I flip forward too far?
I can't remember.
One moment.
There's a middle one. Like it's basically like a 3-act play is how it's set up.
Right. So the next, yeah. Well, we skipped the first part.
Right.
Of discovering the characters. So then you do lay the foundation. And after that is the confrontation, where we build up to actually confronting our dead supervillain, who we now know is not dead.
Well, he's not dead, but he might not be the vampire.
That's true. That's very true. Because we don't know exactly who's doing all this terrible things, like blowing up bridges and electrocuting teenage girls and stuff.
Taking harmless experiments with tentacled fish and turning them into terrible monsters.
I mean, who does that? So yeah, so the next phase is the confrontation. So it works the same way in that we play through scenes, but it's building towards the actual, we're gonna fight the bad dude now, and it's kind of like when we figure out who he is. There's a few changes in the actual structure, but I'm going to suggest we take like a 5-minute break because I'm out of water and I am so thirsty.
Well, I was going to say I hate to be a punk, but unfortunately I'm going to have to log soon, and I don't know if I can make it through another whole session. I'm sorry. It's unavoidable, but something just came up and I got to deal with it.
That's okay. That's totally understandable.
I am sorry, guys. I enjoyed meeting everybody and getting to play.
Oh, totally.
And,
yeah, this is fun.
You guys should totally run headlong into the vampire and throw the other 2 under the bus and maybe survive.
Oh, that's terrible.
This game has more buses.
Yeah, it was
more
awesome.
body canoes.
No more canoes. More buses.
No more canoes. No more canoes.
No, I really want to see the last survivor like riding the body canoe.
Ride the clock of Venus into the...
Oh, so much
Oh.
wrongness.
So
But,
bad.
I now feel like
Love it.
when Sarah's schedule is freer and we have time, we should totally play Annalise again and just...
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's a lot of fun.
I'm really glad to hear that. It is a game that, so like we even skipped part of the game, the first part, to make the characters, which is, and it even says in the rules, like, in some ways that is the most fun part of the game.
For me, making characters is the most fun part of just about any game.
Yeah, and setting the tone and choosing your setting and stuff. So even with using the quick start, we still have been playing for, what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
2 hours, and that was just like one part of it. So this is a game that truly can go on for like a couple of sessions.
Well, and like, I had this problem in the first time I played this game as well, where we only did one moment per character scene and kind of let it go. You can certainly string together multiple moments for a character, which I think is good because Nathan's like, you can totally play this as a two-player game, and I can really see that getting a lot of leverage there.
Yeah, I can see that too. And in retrospect, I totally would have I can see this being something where you have a notepad and you have like a flow chart. Like, looking out here, over here, and then this happens and that happens. Right.
I think the one complaint that you can sometimes see with this game is that it does a good job of trying to push towards fictional consequences, but you don't often, unless you do have that notepad and it's sitting there on the table of, this is what happened, it's hard sometimes to string those fictional consequences back into the story.
Totally.
Yeah.
You have to really work at them. And with that, that's my kind of breakdown of Annalise, and I still love it. I think it, and I like playing with Sarah because I think she and I go in a similar vein about like, yeah. It's gonna be that kind of game. Like, really, we want a Raphael Chandler scenario in our vampire.
Well, thank you. And I was super happy whenever you wanted to play it. So.
All right. Coolness. I'm sorry I got to bail, guys. Please continue to play without
No worries.
me. And thank you so much for facilitating.
Have a good night.
No problem.
See you later, man.
Bye.
See you later. Deep breath. Relaxation after the intense role playing for a second. Would you
I'd be good with either a break or calling it here, either way.
What about you, Nicole?
I'm good with the break. That's fine. If you want to continue, I'm cool with that. I have some time, so that's not a problem.
Okay. We are scheduled to go for another hour.
Mm-hmm.
So with the three of us, we might actually get close to identifying and confronting the vampire.
Ooh. Okay.
So yeah, let's just take a quick break and then we'll come back and we will say that Barry got called away on superhero business or grad student business.
Likely story.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, see you in 5.
Cool.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey.
I am looking something up. I will be one moment.
Okay.
Okay. I was double checking some rules to make sure we were doing something right, and we are.
Oh, good.
Sweet.
So, all right, let's talk about the confrontation, the part we're going to do now.
Okay.
So, before it was about like kind of getting to know our characters and knowing more about the place they're at, as well as starting to get little hints of the big bad that we know lies behind the scenes. So, in the confrontation, it's a little bit different. It works in the same structural manner in that we're still going to play scenes with our scene guide, and we'll have moments. It's the content of the scene should build towards a confrontation with the vampire. So this is like the rising action in a movie right before the big climax. But that also means that some of the stuff we were doing, we will no longer be able to do. So like you cannot create any new satellite traits.
Ooh.
You can't make any new claims. And those are the big ones. Plus, right now, we can spend a few moments kind of shuffling around the coins on our character. So if you have a claim or a trait that you're not sure you're really going to use, you might at this point choose to take all the tokens off of it so you can use them for other things that you think are more likely that you'll be using. So, for example, if I decide that, oh, I have all this vulnerability, and yet I only have one on my fox claim, and I think I'm going to be using that fox a little bit more, I can move coins or I can move the tokens around. Now, since Eric had to go, I'm going to treat his claims as floating claims. And what a floating claim is, and this will happen with you guys as you kind of move stuff around, is they're in the center, and if you want to spend a token, you can call those yours. So if you want bloody skulls, you can spend a token and you can take it.
Cool.
You still want you don't want any of your core things to go down to 0. So you wouldn't take like all of your tokens from your secret and put them on a trait or a claim, because then you'd be really, really vulnerable to the vampire. But yeah. So in order to get one of the floating claims, you have to use one of your tokens from your reserves. So I'm going to take the time stand still, unless somebody wants it.
Nope.
I'm
just having some issues moving things around here. Oh, there it goes. All right. It's being very slow.
Yeah, my computer's a little bit like, do you have to do all this stuff? And although we didn't have a chance to use our reserves in the first part of the game because it just didn't come up, you may want to, at this point, kind of spend your reserves as you can.
And by spend, you mean just like put them in other traits?
Yeah, I think that's what we can do.
Excuse me.
Okay.
And any of the floating claims, so if you take all of your tokens off one of your claims, it becomes a floating claim. And then you can put those coins back in your reserve, or you can put them somewhere else. Then it becomes a floating claim, and either Nicole or I can buy it, essentially.
I'll like mine where they are.
It does look like this is primarily just for your claims to move stuff around. So
Okay.
allow me to clarify that. And then there'll be a few other things I'll go over.
There we go.
So I'm gonna bring that reserve up for my foxiness. Foxy.
Excuse me. Really doesn't want me to let me do anything.
I am more than happy to move stuff for you if you'd like.
Oh, no worries. I'm just going to see if it's going to happen in the next few minutes. So you can only move it up to claims at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you can claim the floating ones, or you can bolster your existing claims.
Why do you hate me now?
Because Roll20 is temperamental.
Roll20 hates me today.
That's
I'll move. When I can, I'll move my reserves up to each of my claims just to make those reasonable.
Are you cool with me continuing to talk while you do that?
Yep. Go right ahead. If you want to move them to, you're welcome to. It's just not happening for me right now.
Okay. Well, let us remove this frustration so that we can get on to the...
Exactly. There we go. Perfect.
The terribleness that needs to happen next. So, some of the major differences. No satellite traits, so you don't have to do that whenever you have a moment. We'll worry about that when we come to it. One thing you can do is whenever you are in the moment, you can actually flip a trait. So if you have the trait of like stubborn, and you're confronting one of your friends over the vampire, you can decide that, you know what, I have been unreasonably thick-headed about all of this. Your argument has convinced me. I'm flipping this trait, and then I'm going to use all the tokens to re-roll dice.
Okay.
But you have to narrate how it kind of, comes to be that you've changed your thinking on some things. You can also sacrifice your claim, a claim that you have, in order to get the tokens to, you would get double the number of tokens currently on the claim, and then you can spend those, both to reroll dice, to change the numbers on the dice. But in doing so, you completely destroy that claim. So, for example, if I destroyed the fox claim, I would get like 6 tokens, but I would probably have to narrate how like I can't turn into a kitsune anymore or something, just as an example.
Okay.
And at this point, you can also reveal your secret during a moment. If you reveal your secret during a moment, you ignore all the dice, and they all become 3s and 4s at whatever variation assignment that you want.
Okay.
And that also closes the moment immediately, so that means the rest of us cannot fuck with you. So it's a pretty big thing.
Good to know.
Now, there's also the danger of giving in to the vampire. So there are 3 ways you can give in to the vampire. Your vulnerability hits 0. You have no tokens left in your vulnerability. One of the consequences in your moment is that you give in to the vampire. Or you decide to give in willingly because your goals might align with the vampire. And that is always a value of 4. So should anyone choose to use that as a consequence, that should be fun. So we'll probably once again do like one scene with one moment apiece. And we can go back over any of the new rules, like flipping the traits and everything as needed. But at this point, if you want to, you can actually confront the vampire, because the part after this is the aftermath, in which you talk about how the vampire affected your life and what happens afterwards. Okay. So if somebody wants to get all Van Helsing in this, they can. We can go in the same order as before, or we can choose a new first active player, whatever you guys want to do. I'm happy. So.
I'm cool.
Otherwise, it would start with Nicole. Because you were first after Eric.
Yep.
Works for me.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
All right. And who do you want to be your scene guide?
I will pick you, Sarah, this time.
All right. Is there anything in particular that you want to explore with your character, or shall I just get a little crazy here?
See what you come up with. Feel free.
So in your last scene, you had to do the body canoe and be vulnerable. So it is a brand new day.
Yay.
Now, tell me, is Isabella a morning person?
Oh, probably, yes. Very much so.
Very, very annoying morning person, I imagine.
Oh, all those people who are great industrial capitalists are morning people. They're like 6 a.m. in the gym and having breakfast meetings and everything.
So, the sun has just barely risen. Isabella's back from her morning run. She has her on her high-tech running gear that keeps her warm in the chilly fall air. And the streets were pretty quiet because it was so early. You're standing at your counter with your industrial-sized blender making your normal morning smoothie that has kale and protein supplements, a little bit of ginger and turmeric, and a couple of raw eggs. And you know, you're using the blender and it's really loud, so you can't really hear anything, and you're just kind of trying not to think about the creepy face that you think you may have seen when you were running and whenever you went to sleep last night, and it's definitely not behind you right now. And then you do see something out of the corner of your eye. And whenever you let go of the blender, it kind of sends the blender across the counter, and it spills this greenish beige goo everywhere. And it smells like, you know, spinach and raw eggs. It does not smell good. And whenever you turn, you see your ex-boyfriend standing there. What was his name? Edward.
Exactly.
Of course it's Edward.
Yeah.
Edward's standing there, and he's got on his normal suit for the office, which he has both hands like this because now it's covered in smoothie. And in one hand he has his normal, 2-shot latte that you never could break him of drinking. And in the other is a handful of newspapers, and he's staring down at his suit. I'm looking at you. I knocked, but you didn't answer.
It's the Vitamix. It's loud. Sorry.
And he'll edge past you and put his stuff down and try and wipe at his suit. Now, whenever he puts the newspapers down, and I assume you're starting to clean up the smoothie mix, there is a picture of you on the front page of the newspaper. So what do you want to do?
Which me?
Archon.
I'll keep cleaning up. but I'll take a look at it after I'm done.
Okay. So he's muttering as he's cleaning off his very expensive silk tie and his shirt.
Why are you here?
Well, I know you don't like me just dropping by, but I think I left some of my files here whenever I moved out.
Really? I think I would have noticed.
Well, they're not at my place, so I thought I would come over and check. I mean, is that a problem?
I suppose not. Finish cleaning up the crap.
Hey, did you get a new katana? And he's like standing by your weapons. You have a wall that just displays all these martial art tools and weapons.
Maybe. What do you mean?
And he starts to touch one, but then it's like you can see him reminding himself that maybe you don't like people to touch your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it looks. I don't remember this one.
Let me go over and look.
So is that a new sword? You tell me.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's new.
It's nice.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that you noticed.
So once you're this close to him and you're looking at the sword with him,
Mm-hmm.
you can smell him, and you remember that smell, like waking up in the morning, that smell on the pillow. Kind of miss that smell a little bit. And he's touching it very gingerly. He's just like, well, I always admired, how well you handled yourself with these things. And he turns around and looks at you, and he is just very close.
I appreciate that. Step back a little bit.
Would you like this to be a moment?
Sure.
Awesome. All right. So you're not going to make a new satellite trait.
Okay.
So what trait are you going to say you're using in this situation? How are you reacting to him?
I am reacting in my lone wolf way, I suppose.
Okay.
And trying to stay away from people in general.
Lone wolf seems like a really good way to do it.
Yep.
So how many... Now it looks like you have 4 in your vulnerability and 1 in your lone wolf, right?
Okay. Yes, that is true. So
Okay.
what can I do there? I can only spend the lone wolf, basically?
Well, you can spin the lone wolf, but then I think you can spin the ones from your core trait.
Okay.
But if that goes to 0, then you will be vulnerable to the vampire. So you know how sometimes if you get a bad roll, it says that you have to spend an additional coin out of your satellite trait?
Yeah. Then you'll spend more out of that one. Right.
Yeah. So if you go down to 0, then bad shit happens. Which I think might be the motto of most games like this.
Okay, I'm gonna spend... I'll spend 1 out of my vulnerability, and it's still not moving, so... Oh, wait, it started to. Never mind.
I can always grab it for you if you want.
No, I think it's working, but we'll see.
Okay.
So
that will give you 1 outcome.
Okay.
So in the fiction, we have not established who broke up with who.
It's true.
Nor, if there is any feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to do the outcome anywhere in that area.
What I would think is I don't know if she would actually break up with someone. She's probably a pretty crappy person to date. So she probably just expects other people to break up with her and so probably waits until that happens, which is, essentially like breaking up with someone anyway.
Yeah.
So he probably broke up with her, but essentially it was the same difference. So I imagine there might still be feelings, but she doesn't like being close to anybody. So
Okay.
in that situation, I think her outcome would want her achievement to be that she still remains friendly with him, but nothing happens. Everything's fine. I don't need people,
Okay. So the consequence of that is I'm just gonna go there. It's actually the vampire in disguise.
Okay, sure. I am not able to move that, so if you want to move that, you can go ahead. The token,
Sure.
for some reason.
Roll 20. It's got your number.
Yeah, it hates me. Okay, so I'm just rolling 1 here.
You can do it that way. Although at this point, if you wanted to, you could spend another coin and get another outcome.
So I could, on top of that?
Yep.
Sorry. Okay.
If you wanted to.
No, I think I'll go with that for now.
Okay. Then yeah, you'll roll 1 dice.
Okay. Okay. Ooh.
What'd you get?
1.
You rolled 2 dice, because 1 for the outcome and 1 for the
Oh, sorry. I got a 1, and okay.
That was great, though.
2 1s.
Alrighty.
That's how awesome I am today. So nothing works out for Archon today. This is a bad week for Archon.
So that means there's automatically another consequence.
Okay.
With a value of 3 on it.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm gonna say you give in to the vampire.
Okay, so there we go. It's all over. Sorry, Banner.
This morning started out so nice.
I know. I was like, I had a nice run, and then there was a vampire.
Still in my smoothie, in my space.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the hell?
Well, now remember, there's still stuff you can do.
Yes, it's true.
For example, you can sacrifice a claim to, what was it? Will that give you a reroll? Let's see. And that gives you double the number of coins on the claim, and you can spin those.
Okay. So that might be something to do at some point.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You may need to break your utility belt, or I don't know how you would destroy your imposing glare. But you have to narrate how that element is killed, destroyed, negated, or otherwise shunted out of the fiction.
Okay.
If you want to sacrifice a claim.
All right. So what's happening here is I don't come close to achieving my situation. He's totally the vampire.
Yeah.
And totally given to the vampire. Okay. Got it.
Although it doesn't happen to the fullest possible extent.
Okay. No, I don't totally give in to the vampire. Just sort of.
At least not yet, because Michael could always spend a token to make sure that you do give in.
Okay.
So let's Renfield you. Why don't we?
How could I? I suppose I could break my utility belt in the, process of fleeing the vampire and jumping out of my, condo on top of the awesome building that I built.
You
Yes.
like literally throw everything in your utility belt at him.
Yeah, and then fly out the window. And then, be like, oh, surprise, guess who I am, So it would be kind of like, yeah.
That could be cool.
Yeah, that could be cool. So what do I get for that? I get 4 tokens for that?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the other option you would have is to reveal your secret. And then everything becomes a 3 and a 4 instead of these ones. Or you can break your utility belt, and then you can use that to re-roll dice.
Okay.
Or move dice up the chain.
Okay. I think I'm going to break my utility belt because my secret doesn't seem to really do much in this situation, I think.
All right.
It doesn't really do that. So, okay, so I'll do that.
So that gives you 4 tokens.
Okay.
So you can move stuff, or you can, because right now you have a 1, 1, and a 3.
Okay. All right.
And then you have no more utility belt.
Okay. I am going to...
Although you can still glare at people.
I can still glare at people. That's good. I'm going to change the 3 to a 4.
Okay.
So that's 1.
And you got 3 more.
I'm going to change...
You can also just like re-roll one of the dice.
Yeah, maybe I'll re-roll 1 and I'll change one of the ones to a
3.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
I'll change the consequence 1 to a 3. And I'll re-roll my achievement 1 and see how that goes. Just 1 sec. Oh, 4. There we go.
Nice. See, spinning those coins.
There we go.
Now, Michael, do you want to interfere with that?
After all of that.
That seems like a lot of work to.
Do you want that typed out to see how that went or anything like that?
I think I have an idea of how it works.
Okay.
I think I followed along there. As much as I'd be tempted to, no, I won't tinker.
Okay.
Fully amused. All right, let's go there.
Okay.
So, he is Xenos, or however you say it. He is the vampire in disguise. And you
That's a little creepy.
Yeah.
Ew.
Sorry.
Well, what do you do?
Well, he even got the smell down, so I mean, you know. And you're going to get a coin in your reserves.
Okay.
However, he does not quite convince you to join him. So you actually get 2 coins in your reserve.
Cool.
And you are able to maintain your emotional distance away from him.
Yay. That's why he doesn't convince me to join him.
Because you are a cold as ice, right?
Yeah, I survived that. Yay.
You are the imposing glare queen. All right. So there's your 2 coins in your reserves.
Awesome.
And all right. So you know, he had turned and looked at you in this very intense moment, and you step back. And whenever you step back, you realize that something's not quite right. Because Edward was always, like, his eye line was just barely above yours. Even whenever, you know, you would wear short heels, you were about the same height. And whenever you step back, you realize you have to look up to look in his eyes. And that's your first clue that it is not Edward that is standing in front of you. And it seems like your apartment gets colder and darker. And it's like the shadows themselves are clinging to Edward. But he gives you a very tense smile and says, I understand. I'm sure I'm inconveniencing you. I know this is whenever you normally like to go running. I thought I might get back before you, or get done before you got back.
Done what?
Looking for my files.
Oh. Right.
Maybe you could help me find them.
Sure.
I mean, it's that old storage closet of yours. I know it's kind of dusty.
I take the katana.
And there's I'm sorry?
I take the katana, the newest katana, off the wall.
We might need this, just in case.
and now he takes a step back. What are you doing?
And put the sword between us. Like, you're not him. I know you're not. I'm not stupid.
And he smiles. His hands are still at his side, and he says, of course you're not stupid. That's why you should be with me. And not those morons at the Heroic Agency.
I've heard this before.
Maybe one day it'll finally get through to you. But, and he kind of leans real close, like almost like the sword would cut him if he took a deep breath. I see I've disturbed your morning enough. I'm sure we can discuss this again. And then he steps back and walks to the front door. Of course, he doesn't open the door, he just walks through it. Your face is so awesome.
She, like, throws the katana into the door.
And it vibrates. Yes. All right. So I believe that was your moment.
There we go. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Less gore, but still, you know.
Yes.
Hopefully a little creepy.
Yes, it was definitely creepy. It was like, thanks for showing up, like my boyfriend. That's kind of gross. Much appreciated.
Not cool, man. Not
cool. Not cool. Not cool. It's not a funny joke. Not cool.
Silly vampires.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, you're up.
All right.
Who would you like to be?
Well, I asked Sarah last time, so I'll ask Nicole this time.
Okay. We'll see what to do. So there's nothing really suggested this time. It's sort of like a...
Yeah, they only have suggestions for the first round.
And sort of just like confrontation type time.
Yeah, you can definitely, like I did, actually have the vampire figure show up in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then that makes it more likely that as a consequence you could potentially have them give in to the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, this is really like us finding out who the vampire is and what's going on.
Okay. Is Banner going to be on the search for the vampire now that he knows who he is, and what are the next actions that he's going to take after the nightclub near massacre?
Yeah, he would almost definitely be on the search for him and be trying to tell everybody, like, hey, I saw him. It was him. He was there.
Well, I think, it's probably no surprise that people are sort of like, yeah, right. I mean, it's not so much that way amongst your teammates and your friends. I'm sure, they're willing to hear you out, and even if, probably Isabella would be a little bit like thoughtful about it, more so than you might expect, given her recent sort of situations, even before she confronted the vampire. But your teammates certainly aren't like, oh, you're being crazy. But other people that you talk to are like, why would he be not dead? Everyone knows he died. And that's how it goes. Super villains don't come back to life, obviously. Like, this must be some crazy alien thing you've got going on, all right? You don't know how things work with humans. This is the way it is.
No, dead is dead.
Yeah. So there are probably some very well-meaning people who are trying to explain to you, no, Earth is different. And
explained, all right.
yeah, and you're like, no, I understand. People have told me about it. Good, I'm fine.
Have you ever seen that movie, Sometimes They Come Back? It's like that.
Yeah. He's like, no, it's like a vampire thing. Yeah, it's like Buffy. All right. Anyway, so totally. Some people are more willing to listen to you than others, but by and large, they're not that into it. But the rumors do start to kind of filter through the city if you're that into talking to people. And I mean, there are a certain number of people who are always want to become a vampire or want to, be part of that life. So as those rumors start to filter out, you start to hear that there are groups of teenagers getting together, probably through your friend Jimmy. There are groups of teenagers trying to get together to bring out Zenus, so he'll bring them into his vampire darkness. So you think maybe that might be a place to kind of check it out. Maybe it's too obvious, but you never know. So is that something you'd look into, maybe?
Yes. At the very least, we should persuade these innocent people to give up their foolish exhortations of this villain.
You're totally right, Banner. I'm with you. That's such a sick sort of idea. I can't believe this. Emo kids. So Jimmy's right there with you. He's going to take you into it, and he thinks that it might be a good story for some paper he's working on.
Okay.
So you guys go off into the night. These are not even as nice places as the nightclub that you were at, because they're kind of like, hole in the wall hangouts where people can find that they don't have to pay too much, to hang out in, where they can drink one beer for 2 hours or something. And so you go into one of these places and it's filled with kids and smoke, and it just doesn't look like the kind of place that you'd think this guy would go. It doesn't really seem like it. But the kids are all convinced. They all seem really into it, really bright-eyed and excited when you go in. Okay. And it's just a bar. I mean, people are hanging out, but there was a little buzz and anticipation in the air.
Okay. Is the gathering of Zenus followers obvious in the bar?
Well, it seems to be most of the bar, actually. So it seems pretty obvious. I mean, they're basically, like Jimmy said, a bunch of kind of emo kids, and they all group in one area of the bar, and there's not too many patrons other than that.
One of the patrons looks at you, Banner, and kind of smirks. And turns to kind of smirks at you and turns back to his beer, but not before you hear him mutter a racial slur under his breath.
Okay, Banner pauses in his ardent stride forward.
Kick his ass! Oh, sorry.
And like looks sideways and down at this person.
This pasty goth kid who
Jimmy's like got his hand on your like,
It's like, not now, Banner.
and the kid's like,
Banner pulls out a seat, turns it around, and sits. And he's like, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Nicole, would you like to?
no, you go ahead. Go ahead with it.
The guy turns around again, and you realize that he's wearing these white contact lenses. So all you see is the black in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wearing a black T-shirt that's kind of ripped, and he looks a little bit older than a lot of the other people in the bar. But he just kind of sneers at you and is like, "You heard me." So you have enough narrative power that if you just want to flat out kick this guy's ass, you can narrate that. Or if you want to beat him and get information out of him, stuff like that.
Okay.
If you don't want to turn this into a full-blown moment, we can just, like I said, there's enough narrative control that if you want to figure out why the skinhead is hanging out with the goths, you can do that.
Okay.
Not that I know, so.
Banner will stand up and grab the dude by his collar, hoist him up.
All the emo kids
like,
are like, oh!
And he's flailing.
This fellow thinks, and he'll repeat the slur that was mentioned, and ask the bar, "Does anybody else agree with him?"
All the kids are like,
and the guy is holding onto your hand, and he manages to gasp out, "No one would give you immortal life," as he's kicking.
Banner, while holding him there, says, "Excuse me then," and starts to walk over to like a less crowded part of the bar. Where he will then ask him if he knows anything about Zenus, and if not, then he will escort him out of the bar.
Yeah, man, he promised all of us, all his gangs, that if we helped him, he would share immortal life with us, because he's back and he's gonna kick all you heroic agencies' asses, man.
You are foolish.
Taking notes.
And and you have no idea what you are trifling with.
I know better than those goth kids.
How many gangs does Zenus has? Tell me.
Hey, not so rough. After a little physical persuasion, he will tell you the name of the 3 biker gangs that he runs with.
Okay. And they are all loyal to Zenus.
Yeah, man. You should watch out.
Yes, I will be very watchful for you and your gangs.
He's so concerned. Yes, you and your gangs. I'm so worried.
He then drags him back to the bar, and he's like, "Who else wants to give me information about Venus?"
all of the goth kids are basically like, because they they seem, when you say it straight out, they're all like horrified. This is like a huge, big secret, and you're just like, oh, right? And so they're all, and this guy is probably like a huge, tough guy to them, and you just brought him back, and they're like, so. You probably get from a few others of them that are so terrified and have only come downtown like 5 times in their life and just saw a hero like shake information out of like a big tough skinhead biker. They tell you that Zenas has promised a whole bunch of kids eternal life if they help him do certain things, if they're his eyes and ears. So not only does he have a few biker gangs, but he's got a bunch of goth kids who are telling him information about what you and your friends are doing, what various people in the city are doing, what the cops are doing. Just by keeping them on street corners and having them shop or something like that, they just look like normal teenage dirtbag kids. But they're passing up all the information to him, and he's promising them that eventually he'll make them vampires. But they say a few kids have become vampires, but all they know is that they've disappeared. So you can probably surmise from that he's not really going through with what he's promised, knowing him as you do.
Okay. Banner will respond saying that they are all as foolish as this one is, and if they continue to follow in Zenus's dishonest footsteps, that they will all reap what they sow, and he may not be there to save them when they do. And then he tosses the dude at the bar.
Guy crashes into all the bottles behind the bar. There's a whole bunch of glass rains down, alcohol rains down. The goth kids figure that's as good a time as any to leave. They all head out the front door, running for home, probably the subway or something like that. And they head out. But you see someone wearing a cloak off in one of the corners of the bar, turns in a swirl of their cloak as you see the kids leave, and heads out the back door, as if he's been standing there watching the whole time.
Okay. Banner will tell Jimmy to stay here, and he'll be right back. Follow the dude in the cloak.
Yep. Okay, you follow him out into the alleyway. And he's still standing there, waiting.
Okay, Banner strides up to within like a few feet of him, crosses his arms over his chest in a very heroic manner, and says, "What is your purpose here?"
This sounds like a moment.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Excellent, excellent. I like how the bad guy now has like all these minions.
They're just minions.
So, Michael, you know the drill?
Yes.
Look at your stacked secrets and stuff. So what trait are you using?
Righteous demeanor.
Nice. And how many tokens do you want to use? Yeah.
We'll do 2 again.
Okay. So what's the first outcome that you want to have happen?
Okay. Let's see. Let's say Banner is able to he's able to unmask the cloaked figure and find out who it is.
Cool. What will be the consequence of that, Nicole?
The consequence is probably he gets away before that happens.
Well, remember, it can't be something...
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. You unmask the cloak figure, but it is a minion of the vampire.
Okay. Let me write these down, actually, before we start rolling. So, unmask.
And then you'll have one more.
Minion. And for the other one, he is able to kind of indulge in his darker side a little bit without anybody seeing in the process of unmasking this guy.
Ooh, are you going to go like full comedian on him?
Able to beat on this dude, basically.
That's awful. Not really.
He has a dark past, man.
Could the consequence of this be there were witnesses? Or is that too much of an opposite?
No, because that could happen either way.
So, okay.
Bad behavior.
The consequences of that is that you totally get to beat on the guy with some of the goth kids are passing by the alley as they're running away and see the righteous Banner who could put them on the path of goodness beating on this dude.
Sweet.
That's nice.
Like, dude, you were 5 minutes ago. You were just in there.
You were just in there telling us to be good people, and now look at what you're doing. You're like, but it's a vampire. They're like, I can't tell. Come on.
Oh my god, that's great. You know, they totally have their cell phones out taking pictures.
Yeah, they're like.
Cool. All right, so you're going to roll 4 dice.
No photos. No.
It wasn't me. It was the vampire disguised as me, guys.
Right.
That could totally happen. That doesn't sound like a soap opera.
Isabella told me it happens all the time.
That's so funny. All right, yeah, 4d6. And let's see what happens, and then I will mess with you.
Don't roll ones. That's all I have to say to you.
Roll all ones. Roll them.
Oof, wow.
Oh, nice.
So 4, 4, 5, and 6.
Good job. No ones.
It's
Very
begging
good
to be
job. That was the opposite of rolling ones.
So go ahead and assign your dice.
Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna give you guys like all the fun to fuck with. Super in my favor, and then you guys can fuck with it all you want.
I think that's the right way to play it there.
So let's see. 6-2. He does get to unmask him like awesomely, and all kinds of good things happen. And let's see, what do I have? I have 2 4s, a 5, and a 6. Okay. So the 5 to getting to indulge his dark side a bit, and 4s both to either being a minion and the goth kids whipping out their iPhones.
Now, since you put a 6 on an achievement, that means you actually get another achievement with no consequence.
That's right. Well, we'll see if it actually stays there first, right?
No, it's on the initial roll. It goes ahead and
that's
happens.
right. Okay, sweet. Yes. Okay, so generates another achievement and value of 4. So just another generic achievement. Okay. So he gets to unmask him, and it's somebody he knows. Somebody who he's familiar with.
And that can still be a minion, so that should be okay. All right, let's mess with this. Mess with this so hard.
It's Barry.
Actually, I am going to use one of my Foxy tokens.
Ooh.
To make you re-roll that 6.
No.
Just watch, you'll roll another 6. It'll be... Oh, so that 6 changes into a 2.
No unmasking happens. No unmasking at all.
Nope. All right. So no unmasking, and then we're running short on time, so that's the only thing I will do. Otherwise, I would spend all my tokens on this. But yeah, there you go.
So he still somehow discovers that it's somebody familiar to him, but
you don't get to actually.
It's just short of unmasking, but yeah, does not actually unmask him.
Which, if this helps at all, and if you want me to shut up, Nicole, just say so.
Oh, no worries. I'm just having some problems with it's all running slow right now. So.
Oh. One way you could play that is perhaps you recognize like the voice or something.
Right. I figured he'd like a voice, or he says something that twigs into the.
But you're like unable to prove it.
Right. Everybody's gonna think Banner's nuts. No, dude, the guy's back, and my friend's hanging out with him.
Like, Banner, you're nuts. What's that?
Been working a little too hard.
You need some R&R, Banner. We keep trying to tell you, humans don't work that way.
Yeah, I think I'll leave it there too.
Cool.
Okay. So, didn't find out who it is. But sort of did. Okay. So, the hooded figure is like, my purpose here is to stop heroes like you from ruining my master's plans.
What possibly could be in this for you?
You heard what they said. Eternal life, and eternal glory. What can you possibly have to give us other than that?
He says, justice and the knowledge that you have done society right.
Justice. You couldn't even put away Zenus. He came back from the dead. He's that good. He proved that he can be like. He proved that he can be better than any of you heroes.
Okay, so 4 for those is avoid, but only barely. Okay. So he will then stride forward and attempt to manhandle this guy the way he did the biker dude in the bar.
This guy is like only a little bit better than the biker dude, so it's not too difficult to do. But while he's fighting with you and trying to stop you, you hear his voice and you recognize him as. I'm trying to look for somebody that might work.
Oh, that's a good idea. Who's the worst person it could be?
I'm trying to see if there's a bad person it could be.
It could be the biographer. It could be the
Ooh, that
commissioner.
would be. Oh, I was looking at that. That would be a good idea. You hear his voice, and you can see that he's like skilled at some hand-to-hand combat, but he's no match for Banner, the super strong alien. and as you hear him saying, "Unhand me, my master will have your head for this," you recognize a voice that seems very familiar. You've heard it in many press conferences and other things like that. It is the police commissioner.
Nice.
The head of the police department, in fact, is under Xena's quantum spell. Like, there is no one in Saga City who's untouched.
It's just playing into Banner's jadedness.
Yep. Well, apparently people are just terrible, dude.
That's right.
Even the cops. And apparently humans are so afraid of death that they are willing to listen to a vampire, an obviously insane supervillain vampire. This is something, you learn something new about humans every day, and that's what you've learned today. But while you're shaking this guy and beating him up, you notice at the end of the alley a few of the goth kids who were looking horrified before, continuing to look horrified as they have their iPhones out, filming you.
And one of them is like, "Hey, is that the police commissioner? Is he beating up the police commissioner?"
Oh my god, my mom's a cop! Let's go show her!
At which point, Banner shoves the police commissioner up against the wall, thinking he's done with him, and thinking that that'll knock him out, but probably not. And then stride over to deal with the kids.
No, the kids run.
Dude.
Run away.
He's like, wait.
No, they run.
Terrifying.
They're afraid of you now. They're like, oh my god, do you hear one go, he's gonna beat us up next, go, go.
Oh wow, that was great.
Like, have this existential crisis with Jimmy later in the night. Jimmy, I don't understand. The mortals that used to love me.
I know, Banner. Mortals are weird. Well, I mean humans. Just weird. I don't understand. Let's go get a beer.
Yes, but not at that last place. That was terrible.
No, we'll go to a nice pub. It's fine.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Well, that seems like a strangely cynical and downbeat note to end our game.
People suck. The end.
Yeah. If you play Annalise, you will find out.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm joking. And body canoes.
Body canoes.
And tentacle fish.
And tentacle fish.
And fresh human skulls.
Yep.
Yes. So I am going to, because unfortunately we're out of time, even though I would dearly love to confront the vampire. But we are out of time. So I'm going to be ending the broadcast, even though if you two have a minute. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank our one viewer for hanging in there with us. Yay. You're awesome. Thank you. And I will post a link, so if you want to buy Annalise, you should go to Nathan's website and or go to your local gaming store and encourage them to carry it. And thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for running.
Totally.